Okay, welcome folks to our last week of instruction. We are in Design 300. It's our lecture. It's Tuesday, December 7th, also known as Pearl Harbor Day. So if you plan to do any remembrances on that, uh, please take all opportunities to do so. We are on Google Meet right now. So let's take a look and see what's, whoops, I went too far there. See what's up. So we've got our week 16 right now, where we're continuing our work on our final portfolio presentation. Remember that the submittal is due on Thursday. Your progress submittal is due Thursday. It's kind of of out of sequence of where we've been before. So please just know, welcome in Aiden. And then there are no lectures, no classes, no labs during finals week. I do not hold regular office hours during final week, but you can always send me an email or a direct message on Discord or Canvas if you have some questions. From what I've seen, people are getting it and you're just going to be working, and there should be no reason to be asking me a bunch of questions. But if you do have questions or concerns or comments, feel free to message me and I'll try to find a time. I do have other responsibilities during finals week, so I'm not just openly free and available, but I've got plenty of open spots to be able to meet with you if you need it. Okay. And then you'll find that Thursday the 16th, excuse me, is the end of finals. And so that's the last day to turn in your work. You can also turn in late work all the way up until that date. Remember, unless you've got prior discussions and authorization to turn something in late that will count for full credit um, automatically, I go to your late work and I take half of them and I grade them. Okay, so some people had some things come up and I said, "Oh, you can turn it into the late work and I'll grade that and it won't count in that halvesies." Um, but that's the last day to turn stuff in, because then I've got basically one day to do grades because I'm not working over the break. So I'll get your grades all done by then. You should see them posted fairly quickly, actually. We have until January 4th, but some people have, requirements that they get things done early, so I try to do so. All right, so that's what's coming up. No class during finals week, but you can contact me. And we've got our lecture today. Your progress check number 2 is due on Thursday, and then your final progress check is due the following Thursday. So let's take a look here. Um, you've got your mindmeister.com. Some of you are doing Google Slides. It's all looking cool. I've made some comments, which I'll go over, and then I'll take some questions for anybody who's got them. I did add into
Congratulations.
here something about portfolios in general. You should understand why you're doing the portfolio and what it's for, and how they get used. So that's what this is about. And then I gave you some final portfolio
you have certainly covered a lot of material.
Instructions, and of course I use the MindMeister, and some of you are using Google Slides, which is just fine. You get to use whichever one you want. So those are in the thing. Here's a partial sample for MindMeister. If you're going to use that one, my appointment calendar is already a little bit packed. There's today is almost fully met. So is Wednesday. So there's just a little bit of time left on Thursday, and then you'll see that there's no meetings during final exams. So if you need to get a hold of me, get your name on here soon, or email me with questions. Okay. So there we go. No discussions, no simulations. You're just doing your progress check number 2. Oops, that should say progress check number 2. No, that wasn't very careful of me. Always try to make corrections as soon as you can. And there we go. So what I want to do, everybody's getting some good work done. Few people might be finding some crunch this week and next week because there wasn't a lot of content started. But let's take a look and see what we should look like. The first thing I wanted to do was a general comment. It happened some, not everybody, but often enough that I want to address it. And that's at the start of your presentation. You need to let a reader kind of know what it's about, how it's structured, and how it's organized. So you might show something like this that says, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That was what was required, and I've added an additional one, 6 areas of content. And that's really important. Nobody just wants to start buzzing through 10, 15, 20 pages of your presentation without having a clue. They just won't do it. So at the beginning, you need something that organizes it. And this is one way to do it. In MindMeister, it's kind of nice. And you'll notice then that in MindMeister, I can open things up and see them. So in general, if you're going to show it to somebody, you want to give it to them with these things closed down. Something like this. And I noticed that MindMeister just made a change. They changed their interface like a week ago, a few days ago. So it looks a little bit different now, and it acts a little bit different, but it's still cool. You can do something like this, and I like the concept that you start at the bottom, and when you're building, you build up. So that's what I tried to show here. And if I needed to make a quick presentation, I could take a snip of that and show somebody what it was like. That's my class right there. And if you recall from the first week of class, there was an orientation module in the Canvas site that basically looked like that. Now, it wasn't fully fleshed out. I didn't show all of the stuff because that's a little bit overwhelming. So you may want something like this in your arrangement in MindMeister, and then let them utilize it when they get into it. Okay? You might also have one of these set aside that shows a structure. So you might show a structure on one of them. Now, a few people used a different structure, which is just fine. They used a more single level structure, and that works just well. I chose to do it like this so that on each one I could see what was there. But not everybody did that, and that was fine. Absolutely allowable and okay. So whatever your structure looks like, and some of you had really nice structures that I could see very clearly. Although when I got into yours, it was still fully expanded. So my suggestion is that when you leave it for the day, when you're done, collapse everything so that if a viewer, somebody that you shared it with, is just getting into it, they can see this basic structure. Now, I want to show you another one. This one was done by Jessica, and this is a Google slide. And regardless of how nice the background looks and all of the color coding, which is absolutely beautiful, um, the main thing I want to show here is that immediately after the first page, I can see the structure of the presentation. And I see that Jessica has made a note that she's going to make it interactive, which I'm going to guess she's going to put a link from um, this block here to sites, and from this site here down to the blue ones down to here. So my guess is that's what's going to happen. But regardless of which, I can immediately see that there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas of this. And then if I go to each area, I can see that there's inside of site, I can see there's water, gas, electricity, grading, soil, BMP. And this is almost mocking up a website the way Jessica has it laid out. This is real typical of how you would see it. And these are the main ones. And then these are some separate links. So I immediately know under site. Yes, Aiden, do you have a question?
Sorry, should your screen be showing right now?
Oh, man, is it
I,
not
I didn't
showing?
realize. Yeah, it just shows you.
Oh, man. Okay, sorry about that. Thank you. I had it, you know what? I had it showing and then I got out of it and I got back in. Well, that would have been helpful. It is fortunately showing on the recording. But yeah, so here we go. So here are the 5 sites, and let me go back to this one showing you that there were 5 separate ones, and then under each one there's a layout. So we would expect to see something like that under each one. And you can move things around after you've shown them, which is kind of cool, right? So you can do these up, which is kind of neat, and move them around. And then when you're ready to expand one, you just pop it out. That's kind of a cool new feature that they did not used to have. So they have updated it a little bit on MindMeister. But when we get into this one, so thank you for bringing that to my attention, Aiden. You can see that there's 5 areas, and that there will probably be jump twos, and they're color coordinated, which makes it real easy to see also. And there's a structure being shown what I'm going to see in the site. So I can either skip right past it or get into it in detail. And then on each of them, they're structured kind of the same with spec drawings. So now let me go down to this one. Spec drawings, calculations, and a wrap up are at the end of the section. So let me go show that. Here's some spec drawings, and I can tell what they are because there's some annotations and there's some calculations, and I can tell what they are. And then there's going to be some wrap up. right? Some things that would be, okay, here's all the keywords, here's some industry standards, here's some things to watch and to read. So that's a nice structure. And once I've gone through one, I have the idea of what's behind the other. And so that's what designers and engineers really like. We like to have something that's repeatable and consistent so I can get to the information that I want very quickly. I don't have to go, yeah, where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. Uh, Although I could always do a control F and just type in water and it shows in here twice. So that's not a bad way to go. That's a good tool for us all. Okay, so I could jump right to those sites. Maybe I can jump to calculations. So that's not a bad tool either. Um, but it's but you wouldn't even know to put that in if you didn't understand that there was some structure. Okay. Um, but this is the idea. If you're using a PDF or your Google slide, you can put links in. This is just really well structured. I get it and I can see it, and I saw that it was set up. These last three slides are the same in each one, and that's what I mean by structured. You'll find the same things in the same place on each one. Okay, so that's kind of a cool way to do it. And do you need the fancy background? No. Do you need to color code everything? No. Does it make it easier to read? Yes. Does it show really well? Yes. Will you get graded down if it's all just a white background? No. Will you get graded down if you don't have cool links all over the place? No. Will you get more points for having a really good structure? Yes. Okay. That I can see very easily? Yes. Okay. And I want to see the structure early on. I want to get hit with it right up front. So it could even be that in each of these, there's a little mini content under each one that shows, content, um, what each one of them are. Each of these slide names could be shown right under here to make it even more. Now, it could be that visually that's not appealing enough for Jessica. And I would respect that because I can easily see what's going on without that. And she's got it at the front of each one. So I can see how this nice clean one might get too goopy, especially since these are all available at the start of each section. So that's sort of up to the originator of what would be on. And I want to also bring up on this one, this is nice because it gives me an idea. Oh, utility lines. Yes. I got that. I know a little bit about the drawings and I can see that those got done. I can see that there was drainage. So in this case, there are multiple ones on a page. You can't really do that on MindMeister unless you do a little bit of work up front. You could put the three images on a sheet and then take a snip of those 3 images and save it. Let me show you how you can do that, and I'll use a Jamboard to do that on. I'm just going to have a Jamboard here, and I'll go to images, and I'll upload something. I'll do that one. So if I want multiple images on a MindMeister, I can put them onto a sheet, and I can arrange them however I want. Let me put one more on just to show how you could do it, and maybe a wall system. So if you were interested in making this kind of multiples on one sheet, there we go. I could take a snip of them all put together. Oh, darn it. I blew that. I don't know why I said new there. So in this way, MindMeister is a little more difficult, but if I was interested, I could add that in. I think it's here now. Actions, media. So they changed it just a little bit. So there's kind of all of them put in at once. So that's how you can do it if you're interested. Sort of like what I was showing here, you could put them all on a Google slide and put multiples in of your own. Okay, so that's how you would work it, putting multiple images in there. You could put them on here. You could put this whole thing on a Jamboard also if you wanted to. Jamboard, Google Slide, Prezi, they all give you sort of that linear move through kind of view. This is nice because later on you can use it to talk about. But you've all picked one so far. But these look really nice right here. So this is multiple on one. In MindMeister, if you want to put multiple on one, you have to do a little bit more work than if you do it just on a Google slide. Okay, so there we go. That's really what what I'd like to get across is that your structure should be done by now. A few people didn't quite have a solid structure that I could see, and so I commented about it and I wanted to go over it. The rest is just adding your content. And there's a lot of content to add. Let me go back here. I want to show you one other one. Let me look at this one. I think this one is JR's. It's like, whoa. There's just a lot of content that we've gone over. Actually, I don't know whose this one is. Just as a note, if you're doing a MindMeister, it would be good to change the name so that it has your initials. open on open focus mode. What's that? That's a new thing. Focus. I don't know what that just did. But in any case, you can see there's just a tremendous amount of material that you've covered, and I'm so impressed with how you're able to pull it off of your work and put it in here. So this one is like, it's far along. This is well along, farther than what I asked for. It's got the structure and a lot of substructure, and there's just a little bit of work that still needs to be put in. I can suggest that in the short term, you position it something like this so that whoever comes into it can see what's going on quickly and easily, and then move on to future ones. But I'm going to try to put that back because I'm messing with somebody else's work right now. There we go. So again, though, you can really see a structure to this that will make it very easy to follow. And you can see that there's a good amount of content. There's still some content here, 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 and here, and here that will be brought up and worked forward. So, but this one is well along the way. Okay, so that's the presentation and the lecture for today. Structure and content. Are there questions at this point? Okay, then I will turn off the